All right. Hi, I'm Kasha. I'm the co-founder of Flok, and I'm bringing you today Flok22, a mobile app so you can check into real networking. So real in-life networking is hard, and social media is making it even harder. Can you raise your hands of any of you who have 500 plus connections on LinkedIn or Facebook? I thought so. Which ones of those connections are you going to call whenever you need something? Probably only the ones you've met in person. I think the panelists made that really clear whenever they were up here. And so we know that your virtual network is not a real network. We've all been here. We all know we need to meet new people. This is your networking event. You're at the happy hour and you're wearing your name badge around your belly button, or maybe it's already peeled off, but you definitely can't read anyone else's, and you don't know who you need to meet with in that crowded room. You're standing around the table talking to the people you came with. That's not effective networking. Whenever we asked, we wanted to know, would people actually use an app to build their network? And 86% of them said yes, either for friends or for business networking, they would. And we said, well, if we had you in person, what's stopping you from actually meeting new people and growing your networking connections? And over 70% of people said they just don't know what to say, or they have anxiety, or they fear that first approach. I mean, how many of you are going to interrupt a great conversation between Sylvia and someone else in the room and say, hey, I want to talk to you, and interrupt that discussion? So let's start networking effectively. Flok22 mobile app brings you the ability to start checking in, see who's around you wherever you are at a moment's notice. We're bringing networking to the 21st century. It's like a meetup on demand, or even a digital name badge, so you can see it in a crowded room. So here's how it looks for you. What we have is a check-in. Because we're a geolocation-based mobile app, you actually have to be in that place to be able to check in and see who's here. So there's none of the ghosting or catfishing or window shopping before you actually get there. And then you're going to start connecting with the people who are there. We do have a filtering feature, so you know who's important and they stand out to you. And then you have a 22-minute timer once you have a mutual connection. 22 minutes happens to be the perfect amount of time for an effective meeting before you start to lose the attention of those people that you're meeting with. Once the timer's up, you're ready to go start connecting with others, just like a speed networking event. And then, of course, you can search around you to see if there are other events going on nearby that have people that you may want to check into by seeing the number of people attending those events and checked in, ready to meet. Better yet, if you're having a great time networking at an event, go ahead and put your phone away. We want you making human connections anyway. So you can check in later and see who you missed through the missed connections feature for up to 48 hours after any event. So let's go back to that dysfunctional happy hour where people weren't really networking, right? And what would it look like had they used Flok22? So we would do an email whenever you sign up to get the ticket to the event. It would tell you, go ahead and download the app, set up your 60 to 90 second profile, and put your interests and your goals there and what you want to achieve at the event. Once you're at the event, check in. Start filtering through the people that you really want to meet, who make an impact on you, and then start connecting with them and meeting. Continue to do that until you felt like you had a great time networking. Let's say you got caught up meeting with all the right people. Later, you're going to check out of that event and go back through your missed connections for the next 2 days and reach back out to them. We know that there's a demand in this space because there are 400 million of us using apps to network today, and about 50% of those apps are for in-person networking, like Meetup or conferences or even matchmaking apps. And even more exciting is the fact that the networking as a service industry is going to grow from $14 to $155 billion by 2030. So ideally, networking would always be in person and happen very quickly with little to no planning. We looked at our competitors and said, how are they doing in that case? So on the y-axis, you can see whether they're really an in-person connection or a virtual connection. And then on the x-axis, we said, how long does it take to actually plan that meetup in person? And then would it be a little easier to plan the meetup because you're already maybe there, for example? And then we saw this glaring gap at that upper right-hand corner of that ideal networking situation where you're in person and you haven't really had to plan because you were already there at the event. And that's where Flok22 comes in to fill that gap. We're a B2B and a B2C company. We have the Flok22 app that we use as the tool to facilitate funding your network wherever you are and easing into that interaction. So the B2C is an app that in the future will become freemium. Today, please download it. It's free to you to try out. But our B2B is actually networking as a service, and we provide full services to conferences, large meetup groups, and different events for networking. That can include anything from that pre-meetup marketing, off-hours networking, collateral, ambassadors. Anything you need to increase your networking is what we can provide for you, because we want those people in-person networking. That costs around $5,000 to $20,000, depending on travel and things like that. We've actually gained traction with our first contract through the Military Influencer Conference, which we happened to win the pitch event at that conference. And so that was really exciting. Our first contract in revenue, $1 coming in through them, using our networking as a service for the event this year. We've also made some great local partnerships and traction around town where people want to start connecting in person and building their network. And we heard how important it is to do that. Also, we were excited to get a $25,000 grant from AWS in order to facilitate building the backend and data analytics. You can see that we project that we're going to start seeing revenue based on the discussions that we are having today for some contracts at conferences and networking events, and that just will continue to grow as we see more users. We have a fantastic team who's not only resilient to the startup industry, but also we're passionate about meeting in person and networking. Most of you probably know Jessica, the CEO, because she's networking the heck out of San Diego. But more exciting, we also brought on Deepak, a CTO this year, which is a really important piece of the puzzle because he's chauffeured our app to become a great thing that it is today using our developers' initiative. So what we're asking for today, we've been bootstrapped and fully self-funded to this point, which is fabulous. But we're open to talking about funding. We're looking up to $1 million, and every dollar counts to get us to the goal of using marketing efforts to grow that networking as a service business to get more of the revenue that we're already seeing coming in. And then we'd also like to do a little more development and possibly back-end infrastructure upgrades beyond what AWS gave us a grant for. So to look at the 12-month milestones that we'd really like to hit, we'd like to start getting some users, but also land major contracts with local conferences like SDAC. And then we want to get a WeWork partnership. You saw San Diego Downtown Works is on there because they know co-working spaces are ripe for connecting other entrepreneurs to their needs. And then we want to start building out an SDK to plug into existing apps, as well as get a meetup partnership, which would be really a pinnacle for us. Based on their amount of users. As much as we love funding, we want you to join us to start real networking and building your network. So download the app, check in, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and contact us if we can help you at your next event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kasia.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience? We'll take one or two questions. It's in the back.
Hi, that was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've all gone to lots of events that all have an app, and they want you to download it, and they want you to get on. And I'm just wondering, through your customer research, do you find any insight or nugget that was really the key to unlock that app fatigue around, this is one and done, I don't want to be the sucker that invests a bunch in this and then the event's over and I never see it again. So like, just wonder what you've learned along the way about the competition and how you disrupt that.
Yes. So I've been going to conferences for the last about 15 years, and I've been using Hoover and Stevens, the oldest, and I agree, they're hard to maneuver, and I don't want to download one more app for the next conference I go to. But if I set it that happy hour and I only talked to Jessica the whole time I was there, I would be livid. If somebody could have just said, hey, Tasha, this tool here, it puts a big pin drop on all the investors in this room, and I know you need money. I would download the app in a second. Honestly, we want you to be at real in-person connections anyway. So let's get some more events using things that include our app to help people network efficiently. And it's a tool. You know, we're all trained to know that we do have to download the event apps, but they're missing something. And they're really not giving you that value that you need whenever you're at the event. Yeah, I agree. App fatigue is one problem that we're working on. And we do address it upfront anytime we present to conference or event hosts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kasia.
Thank you.